Emergency services say it's too soon to start counting the costs of the devastating wildfires that swept through the Garden Route, forcing thousands of people to evacuate their homes. 4 people died in the fires and Harbin's hampered firefighting efforts. Although the fires have been contained in most parts, emergency services are still on high alert and firefighting efforts continue. We cross live to our SABC Eastern Cape news editor Yuri Bluchnoot for an update. He's in Knysna. Yuri, thank you very much for joining us. Now, we understand that the fires have been contained. Is that still the case at this point in time?
Well, yes, we are down here in Knysna. Earlier we took a drive to some of the fire-ravaged areas like Brenton-on-Sea, going through the town area, going up to Nekkies or Damsebos area. Yes, for most part the fire has been contained. There are still some hotspots, some open flames on some of the open sections. The fire brigade and workers are working on fire. They are attending to these hotspots, damping them down with the whole idea of ensuring the fire doesn't flare up again. Fortunately, the wind has died down here. There is no rain at the moment and it is quite cold.
Now, Yuri, you mentioned that there are still a few hotspots. Can you tell us exactly which areas are those?
Look, like I said, we drove out to Brenton-on-Sea, which was one of the hard-hit areas yesterday. There are some open flames in certain areas, but they're quite small and they're quite contained to specific areas, but these are attended to and they are directly targeted by the firefighters. Also tomorrow at first light, the helicopters will go out and bomb and water bomb the other hotspots which they can find from the air. Just this afternoon, just by about 5 o'clock, 3 SANDF helicopters joined the other aircraft from working on fire here in Knysna to take up the water bombing efforts tomorrow to really put out the fire 100% and to ensure that obviously it doesn't flare up again.
In terms of the number of lives lost as a result of these fires, do we know if the number has increased or not?
No, I listened to you earlier as you were coming to me. Those numbers still stand as the latest ones we've had since this morning after they discovered the body of the baby here in Knysna. Since then, nothing has changed any further.
And just finally, Yuri, on the evacuation, we know that a lot of the areas that were affected had to be evacuated. What's happening to the people that have evacuated their homes?
Look, what we've seen here in Knysna, they set up 6 venues where people could go to who were either homeless or had to evacuate. The numbers last night was between 8,000 and 10,000 people had to evacuate, but what we've seen during the day and as the night progressed, the bulk of the people have found either accommodation with friends or family or returned to their homes in areas where obviously where the fire were close but they were evacuated, but the homes ended up not being damaged. We went to some of the venues where people are housed, and for one instance a lot of people have been moved to a single venue up in Hornley at the Knysna Senior Secondary School. The hostel there has been opened up for people to use, and there's about between 80 and 100 people that have converged there to spend the night, and it seems like the bulk of the people have found alternative accommodation or refuge from friends and family. Where I'm standing now is at it's one of the sports parks here in Knysna. Behind me they've set up a temporary hospital, and it is here where people with emergencies can still come and receive service. And these are the kind of services that they are put out, and hopefully within the next day or two a lot of these things will return to normal, especially the medical services and businesses in town.
Yuri, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for that update. That was our SABC Eastern Cape assignment editor, Yuri Bluchnoot, joining us live for an update.